What's poppin', you guys? It's your girl, Joty K. It's been a rough couple of weeks, you guys. I mean, rough 2020, actually. 2020 in general has just been an emotional roller coaster. I mean, man, oh man, I'm looking rough. I have not washed, I want to say, oh my God, I have so much lip gloss on. I have not washed my hair probably for a good few days. I've just been, if you've been following me on social media, you'll see that I've been heavily involved with the protests that are going on. I feel very strongly about the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, riots, which turned into peaceful protests. And our world is in transition and we're making history, and that's what we should be focusing on. I've shifted my focus on everything going on, but I'm back and, still focused on the movement. Today's going to be an action-packed, not action-packed, but like a informational episode. I started to post about the Black Lives movement a little before June 1st. And I was getting a lot of hate comments on my Black Lives Matter. And people were saying, what about 1984? And what about 1984? If you're not familiar with 1984, Indira Gandhi, who was then, the Prime Minister of India, she basically felt threatened by the Sikh religion, and she attacked on the holy Harmandir Sahib. It was disgusting. The army didn't spare children. They didn't spare anybody. And just the fact to even attack a holy place like that, I think is just so inhumane. She did get assassinated, I think six months after that, by her own bodyguards that were also Sikhs. Very horrible time. And, Sikhs wanted their own Khalistan at that time, and that's why she also felt threatened. What I want to talk about, I posted a few days before, before June 1st, when the George Floyd incident happened. And a lot of our, Sikh people, a lot of brown people wanted to comment and say, you have so much to say about, Black people and their movement, but what about 1984? What about our people? And I've always known briefly about 1984, from what I see on the internet. The internet is very prominent now, from a little bit of what my parents have taught me. But I'm born in America. I was born in Queens, New York. I went to school throughout California, New York, Wisconsin, and we are not taught that, in our school, which I feel like we should be, but we're not. I'm an American at the end of the day. My parents did the best that they could, and I do my best to learn along the way. What I do not like about our culture is, not our culture, let's just say people. Our culture is great, is that don't criticize somebody who does not know. And from a little that I do know about Sikhism is all about learning, and you're a learner. Religion is all about learning, and you're a learner. And we'll ever not fully know everything. Everybody has their own perception of things that have happened. People like my parents lived through 1984. I asked my mother. Her experience was completely different than my dad's. My mom's experience was she was in, she said Dev Samaj College. It was an all-girls college. And she was in college and she heard that happened, and they got up and they protested out of their college. They're like, we're not going to school today. No, My dad was a kabaddi player, which is a wrestler. He was in, he said California. They were doing tournaments. He was out here. So he wasn't there when it happened, but he heard about, what happened, and he wasn't heavily involved. And he just said that it was a scary time for him. My mom was actually there. My dad was here in California. Anyways, two different experiences. And then there's other people that I'm sure have had in-depth experiences. I decided to make the most honest post. I was going to post about 1984. Nobody gave me a chance to let me. They already started attacking me. We'll get into the comparisons that people were making with 1984 with the Black Lives Matter. I just want to read. If you follow me, you'll know the post that I did make. I said, there's like the most honest post I've ever made. It said, I want to apologize to my Sikh brothers and sisters. I at times don't know everything in depth about Sikhism. I try to do my best to educate myself and learn along the way. If I don't know something or say something wrong, please correct me and teach me. Criticizing one who is willing to learn and educate themselves makes them not want to speak up at all. With that being said, today marks 36 years since the start of the Sikh genocide. Hashtag never forget 1984. All the, all the people that are mostly following me, that know me as a person, or, just in general, that have a brain and are intelligent. A lot of them, were like, let's stand together. They were like, thanks for sharing. I appreciate what you said. I appreciate your honesty. A lot of positive feedback. But then there's also people that were like, please stop posting pics of the terrorists and supporting terrorism. I'm against how innocent lives were killed. I'm assassined. Killing the terrorists was in the best interest of the country. We all know this. Basically, like calling Sikhs terrorists, because I posted 10 days of terror, what had happened. Those that forget history are doomed. Basically, you are doomed. Then someone said, what about Muslims? It says, I feel so bad for you. You don't even know the truth. And then somebody said, yeah, this happened because Sikhs killed the prime minister of our country. And I'm not saying what happened was right, but nobody's at fault. One more thing, the only reason the armies entered the Gurdwara because they were terrorists in there with guns and other stuff, and that's a holy place. And I don't think they should have done that. But blaming a country, you should get your facts right. So again, I wasn't born at that time. I was born in 89. What I don't like about this post is, one, he has his facts wrong. We killed Indira Gandhi after the fact. Oh, if you're about to go to war, you are going to have weapons. When I posted about Black Lives Matter, a lot of people put me down and said, what about Muslims? What about this? What about that? Wouldn't you think that if we as a community went through something so horrific where somebody wanted to wipe our whole kind out, wipe us out, right? We've seen children get murdered. We saw cops turn on us, armies turn on us, et cetera, et cetera. Don't you think you'd be able to resonate with somebody's culture or color or whatever that's going through the same thing? Don't you think that's why you should support somebody? Again, and also out of humanity, don't you think you should support, the Black Lives Matter movement? No one's taken away from Muslims. No one's taking away from Sikhs. No one's taken away from anybody. But right now, it's our time to stand together and be united and fight this fight. And the fight is more than just Black Lives Matter. They've been going through this for about 200 years. Like slavery, and then, just every day in the system being worried about if when you get pulled over, if you're going to get killed today, things like that. And, and obviously we can't ignore the fact that we have racists in America. We have racists everywhere. We are, like, now is the time to stand up for a cause. Like, if something happens with us, we would want people to stand up with us. We're talking about right now, we're all united as one. And maybe after today, after this whole movement, which is going down in history, it's going to shed a light on something. And it already is. It's already changing things that are happening, right? Like, the cops that were involved in George Floyd's murder were sentenced finally. I know it took forever, but it was justice. It took a long time, which is unfortunate that that's how long it took for them to arrest somebody. But, finally they did that. Breonna Taylor's case is opened back up. People that are being racist are losing their jobs. People are defending each other and talking about defending each other and saying that, why are you racist? White people are saying it. People are standing up. People are being woke. So why wouldn't you support a movement like that instead of comparing and saying, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? Sikh Expo has been a very, very good people to follow. They actually posted, my friends the other day, a Sikh park, Sikh park. It was all white people, as you see, are saying all lives matter. Some of the Indian folks, some of other religions as well. And it's a white man holding a all lives matter sign. And it says, if my spouse comes to me in obvious pain and asks me, do you love me? An answer of I love everyone would be truthful, but also hurtful. and cruel in the moment. And on the other side, it is a sick man holding Black Lives Matter. The next one, it's a white man holding All Lives Matter. So when a friend speaks up in a time of obvious pain and hurt and says Black Lives Matter, is a response of All Lives Matter, is truthful but is hurtful and cruel in the moment, and holds Black Lives Matter. And then the white person changes all to Black Lives Matter. Basically saying that this is a time for us to come in together for humanity. You know what I mean? And it's also about police brutality, you know, the power, about money being abused. Look how fast the army came, and I'm sorry, the National Guard and the army all came out. That probably took a lot of money. It's all around the United States. There's riots all around the world, protests, etc. And look how fast our countries were able to dish out money, and especially Americans. What about, you know, schools? Like, schools are cutting funding. You know, like, we're getting art out of school. You know, the teachers have to buy their own supplies to teach our children our future. Cursive is getting pulled from school. Electives are getting pulled from school. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, people say America is dumb all the time, and that's because our freaking government is corrupt and they care more about money and power than their freaking people. And finally, people are standing up, and the only way to get to something to change is by standing up. And that's why we go to war, right? When we want, in our history, when some shit is going down, we go to war and shit changes. When there's somebody taking over your country, you go to war. What did India do? War. America, everybody, right? So the fact that, anyways, going back to the topic, the fact that people are taking away from the Black Lives Matter movement and saying all lives matter is disgusting. It shows that you're not, your mindset is very different. You are not looking at the bigger picture. Nobody is saying your lives do not matter. And no one's saying all lives don't matter. Yes, all lives do matter, including Black lives. But Black lives haven't been mattering for numerous years. So it's time to stop that shit, you know? So anyways, I can go on and on about it. I can, you know what I mean? There's always going to be people that are not going to agree. Something funny that I wanted to actually share with you guys. So I was watching a lot of videos of Karens and Kevins, quote unquote, you know, white people, you know, saying, go back to your country, not only to not, you know, I mean, this is kind of off topic, but not really. Go back to your country to people that are supporting Black Lives Movement, immigrants. Again, immigrants built this fucking country. And I know we say that a lot. Check your history. Yes, we did. Black people are immigrants. They were slaves. They were working. They were building this country. Everything you are, this microphone, this computer, the roads, fucking airplanes, everything. An immigrant has a hand in it. Without immigrants, this United States wouldn't be shit. But I actually was really infuriated, and I was like, who the fuck do these white people think they are saying go back to your country? Obviously fueled by our fucking shitty ass Cheeto fucking president Trump, who I mean, Biden isn't any better, and I don't even want to get deep into it. But I mean, I guess he's less of the two evils. You know what I mean? From that, I want to say watch the Jeffrey Epstein documentary. That's all I'm gonna say, and then it's just a black hole. Usage of white people or white race for a large group, mainly or exclusively European populations, defined by their light skin, among other physical characteristics, in contrasting with Black people. Basically, the white people came from the white race or white people entered the major European languages in the later 17th century. To break it down, white people came from Europe. Some of them even came from different descents, basically Europe. So this is not even their country. This was the Native Americans' country. Christopher Columbus thought he discovered India, fucking idiot. So then he called the Native Americans Indians. They're not Indians. They're Native Americans. This was their fucking country. And so Christopher Columbus Day should probably be canceled as well. So yeah, anyways. So basically, white people, this is not your fucking country. You didn't even originate here. So you keep telling people to go back to your country, you go back to your fucking country. Go back to Europe, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take a break before I get hot and bothered. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back from the break. Before the break, I was explaining about how I spoke about 1984, the Sikh genocide that happened 36 years ago in India, and how people were, leaving me rude comments about why are you talking about 1984 and not, I mean, why are you not talking about 1984 and you're talking about Black Lives Matter? And basically, I broke it down that it's humanity, and all lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter, plain and simple. And then white people saying, go back to your country when this is not even their fucking country. But obviously, a lot of their IQ levels very low. So that's, you can't really blame them. And then we have a racist as a president. So that's one thing. The next kind of a topic I wanted to go into was, do celebs have a social responsibility to speak up about things that are going on? Like right now, I have some things to say about this, because I'm not even, I don't even consider myself a celebrity influencer. I don't know, whatever people want to consider me. I have people sliding in my DMs like, you should talk about this. Why haven't you talked about this and this and that? And I've seen some celebrities that I've looked up to who have been silent in the situation. I've seen some celebrities that are trying to benefit. Well, I would say social media influencers, for example, that have tried to benefit off the movement, acting like they care at the protests, their brands promoting it, and then selling stuff, saying the proceeds go to Black Lives Matter. I appreciate that, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about that. Going back to silence, I think silence says a lot. If you have that big of an influence, I understand that you do have somewhat of a responsibility to guide people and educate people. You were blessed to given that platform, and you have the ability to make a change and make people aware. And especially if you're benefiting off Black culture, or you are Black, I think if you are Black, I think you owe it to your people to speak up about it, at least. If you're not Black and you have Black friends, or you've listened to rap music, or you like to dress a certain way, or whatever, you should say something. You should stand up, and I know we're not all completely educated into every little detail, but we are educated in the fact that what happened to George Floyd, and it's happened to Breonna Taylor, what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, what's happened to so many other people. I feel like you owe it to yourself and to the future to say something, and you being silent, I understand you're being safe, but really, like at this point, it doesn't even matter about politics, publicity anymore. It matters about being a good person. So I've kind of questioned a lot of people who haven't said anything, or it took them a very long time to say something, like, it took me a while to process this. Like, really? Because I watched that video and I processed exactly what the fuck was going on. And if you can't be there physically, post something on your page. It's not going to mess your aesthetic. It's going to mess with your numbers a little bit. Who fucking cares? We've been benefiting, making money. 2020 is a fucking wrap anyways. You do owe it, I feel like, to your platform. You owe it to yourself to be a good person. So I do think you absolutely have, you absolutely should say something. Kaepernick is the walking I told you so. If you are playing any sort of sports, you owe it to your fans. If you are a musician, you owe it to your fans. You are fashion, any fucking industry, they're human too. Just because they have a celebrity status doesn't mean they don't have feelings, or they they aren't aware. They're obviously aware, but you can't make somebody talk about something. You can't make somebody share something. You would want them to do it from the heart. If they choose not to be, involved in good humans or whatever, that's on them. That should say more about them. It's been about a couple weeks now. They still haven't said something. I think that should tell you where they stand. If they come out later and say, oh, I was just going through a lot. It's bullshit. We're all going through a lot. George Floyd's family, who just had the funeral a few days ago, they went through a lot. The daughter is going through a lot, so please, don't I just feel like don't give that pity party, but I definitely do think that they do owe their fans or, to say something or bring awareness. Just reposting isn't going to do anything. That's my take on celebrities. And then stop benefiting off of it. If you're stop going to protests to fucking like where you're like, I was looking at some page where it's like influencers in the wild, where influencers are like having a photographer take pictures of them. They're there for like 10 minutes and they bounce. One girl got canceled because she was acting like she was cleaning the community after the riots. She took a picture and then she said, "Thank you so much," and walked out and went in her car. Like she literally got out of her car for her Instagram picture, acting like she's helping the community, and then just said thank you and drove off. Like, what the fuck is that? Another girl's wearing a dress at the protest. I do have pictures at the protest that other people took, not that I told them to take of me, or like me and my friends. Yeah, we did take a picture because this is fucking history. Did I have a full face of makeup on? No. Did I go in my best outfit? No. I showed up as a human being to support. So people that are out there benefiting or trying to turn this into a Coachella or a business opportunity, I feel really weird about that. So anyway, shout out to LA for bringing in over 20, what was it? I forgot. Almost up to like 50,000, they said, people that were out there supporting. So shout out to LA. I love LA. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about celebs and social media. Do they have a responsibility to speak up about what's going on in the world right now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Say something, donate, do something. You're sitting there. Be a human being. Anyways, next. So let's talk about, I'm telling you, this fucking episode, I got a lot of feelings, a lot of stuff to say. Dilpreet Dhillon. So for my Indian followers, which is majority of y'all, we all know what's been going on while, the Black Lives Movement and everything. And there's so many things to talk about. It's a lot. Okay. We have in 1984, then we have fucking cops abusing their power and killing fucking Black people. There's fucking riots going on in the world. Dilpreet Dhillon, your favorite singer, is beating up on his wife and cheating on her with an old lady. So that's what we're going to talk about next. Okay. Dilpreet Dhillon is a singer whose career is probably hopefully over after this. I really fucking hope I really hope you guys delete his songs. He's crap anyways. Just okay, so he basically, everybody knows what happened, but long story short, he would abuse his wife who was only 21 years old. First of all, you're in your 30s. Why the fuck are you marrying a 21-year-old? I'll give you my take on that. He beat her. He abused her. He cheated on her. He treated her like shit. And then his wife finally spoke up about it, as she should. She wants a divorce from him. And him being the manipulative piece of shit that he is, he comes out with his fake ass apology. Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna even fucking watch this. This is fucking disgusting. It's like the worst supporting actor role goes to fucking Dilpreet. Disgusting. He did a stupid ass live and he basically was talking shit about her family. He was basically manipulating and saying like, she's getting manipulated. Why would you share shit on the internet? Making her feel, making the victim feel like she was wrong, what most narcissists do and domestic violence abusers do. Basically saying that the social media is killing his family. Then he does some fake tears. There's no tears came out when he was crying, by the way. He was basically saying like, why is everyone punishing him and talking shit to him? Did he rape somebody? Did he kill somebody? Basically like saying that domestic violence is not that bad. He made a mistake. He's comparing it to rape and murder. Fucking stupid. And then he had like some singers come out and say, please support Dilpreet. He's a good guy. I worked with him. Some dumb girl singer. Don't want to fucking even name her. He calls me sister. Then he does the ugliest fucking Snapchat filter of like him and our name is Umber's wedding. Like some ugly ass, corny ass, like Snapchat filter all across, like, I don't know, probably Yuba City, maybe India. And like, I guess that was his apology. And then on Instagram, he basically put Jat di pasand eda thodi kitte jaan diya. Jat di pasand ekada jaan diya. So it's like a little slideshow of like pictures of him and Umber, like trying to fucking make her feel bad and like, you know, guilt her into coming back because he's a piece of shit. You know, try to guilt her. She's a 21-year-old. She's going to nursing school. So then she comes out on live. Poor girl. She's crying the whole time on, you know, the live, and people are talking shit in the beginning. They're laughing. They're fucking disgusting. I'll get into that. And anyway, so basically people are whatever, mocking her, and she turns it off. She tells her truth. She basically says that he started beating her from India, and she was the line that really like hurt me was when she's like in Punjabi, she's like menu kotla, menu marla, whatever. She's like, cheat na kani. Basically, beat me, do whatever you want, treat me like shit, but just don't cheat on me. And I can resonate with that because I had a guy that used to, you know, hit me here and there when I was way younger. That would not fly now. I'll fucking whoop your ass. But you know, he hit me or whatever. He was my first love. And it was because I'd get crazy because he was cheating on me. And I didn't understand. And I think this is her first love too. And that was my first love. It's like that pain is unmatchable. Just to know that the person you're in love with who claims that they're in love with you, in her case, she's married to the guy, is cheating on you. Like that shit hurts. Like that shit, like pain is temporary. When someone hits you, bruises will go away or whatever, which is a horrible way to look at it. But when your heart hurts and you know that the man that you love is sleeping with somebody else, or the woman that you love, like that shit hurts. You know what I mean? That shit is painful. So I feel her, and she's young, you know? So she did that, and she came out with her truth. Good for her. It's very hard for especially a brown woman to come out with her truth and speak about something, domestic violence, first of all, that is so prominent in our brown community. And, you know, with a lot of people, and not a lot of people, but domestic violence is very huge, especially right now during quarantine and Corona. I've heard that domestic violence cases went up as well. So I'm proud of her for doing that. But our people are so fucking disgusting. Like people like I like to call them uneducated brown people. Like people that have no respect for women, or don't even listen, or think everything's a joke. Like one guy made a TikTok of like her live playing, and they're laughing and faking crying. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If that was your sister, would you guys be crying? Was that your mom? I mean, sorry, would you be laughing? I'm sorry. If it was your mom, would you be laughing? I don't fucking think so. But maybe, who knows? Because you might be the woman beater types, right? So, and then she, poor thing, ended up deleting the video. But by that time, everybody, you know, already screen recorded. It's already everywhere. You know, they're making fun of her, and she can't handle it. You know, it's hard, you know, being in the social media world. I can't even handle it sometimes, you know? So I can only imagine this poor 21-year-old girl, you know? So anyways, my whole take about Dilpreet is, so she was saying that he was previously married. He's done shit like this to previous girls. I think it's his tactic. I think the reason he went for Umber is so she met him at a concert, I think in Canada. I don't know specifically. I forgot. Yuba City, maybe? I don't know. She like ended up messaging him the picture. She was a fan. Without knowing, he started talking to her. And put yourself in her position. Being a young 21-year-old, you're a normal girl, simple girl from a small town, come from a good family. And the guy that you're a fan of, you're at his concert, is interested in you. Hell yeah, you're going to be on cloud nine. You know what I mean? Like, you're already innocent as it is. And he's older. He knows the fucking game. He knew it would be easy to manipulate this girl. You know, he's already got out of a marriage. He probably has a bad reputation in the community. She's young. She doesn't know. She comes from a good family. He could fucking manipulate her. And that's exactly what he did. I'm not saying he doesn't love her. I'm sure he, you know, does in some weird fucking twisted way. And I'm sure she's a great girl. I don't know her specifically, but I think it was a whole plan from the beginning. He knew what he was doing. He knew that she was young and it would be easy to target and manipulate her. And he did, you know, and he's a great actor. Narcissists are always great actors. He won the family over. After he won the family over, he brainwashed her to think the family or everybody, don't talk to them. Because why? The truth will get out. Whenever she decides to tell people what he's doing to her, they're going to tell her, no, leave him. We need you to leave him or whatever. You know what I mean? And of course, that can't happen because he's Dilpreet Dhillon. He's a fucking singer. He's invincible. You know, all these fucking him attention. All these aunties actually. If you listen to the recording, it was auntie that he cheated with, which is even more embarrassing and disgusting and gross, and shows you he has no fucking standards. He will fuck anybody. Anyways, that's besides the point. So it was his whole plan. He knew. And same thing. He was drinking. She was taking off his shoes. She was cleaning. He was talking shit about her. He was telling her that she can't be anything. So he was belittling her. So she will mentally think that she cannot go to anybody else. And he is the only one for her. That is a game. A lot of men like him play that game. I know that game very well. He is a bastard for that. And his family that takes his side, they like his, in the freaking, on her live, she was saying that when she first met his Bobby, his sister-in-law, she was like, do you know about him? Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Basically, she gave her a warning sign. But when we're in love, we basically obviously ignore warning signs because we're in love, right? That's what we do. Women especially. Red flags, we run towards them, you know? But imagine like Manpreet Tour situation. I don't know if Mickey hit her, but he cheated on her and stuff. Again, same circumstance. Imagine your fucking childhood crush or your freaking heartthrob of all the Indian community likes you and you used to be a fan. That is cloud nine for you. You're going to put up with that shit. You know what I mean? And again, I know people like Mickey Singer are manipulated people. I know people where he made her believe that the people that were telling her shit are liars and are haters and think their relationship is, that they're hating on their relationship. They're jealous and she got manipulated. When you're in love, you're manipulated, So that's just a different example, but I'm just saying the process of narcissism, people like these guys is the same. It's control. It's low self-esteem. So they project it on these innocent women. I think that's disgusting. Another thing is the people supporting him. It's because the way women are treated in India. Yes, we are standing up for ourselves now. We are working. We're like, no, we don't want to marry this person. No, we don't want to do this. No, we're not going to do this. We're standing up. But there's still those small-minded people acting like women are lower than men is disgusting. We birth fucking people. We have kids out of our vagina. Mothers are super women. They cook and clean for the whole house, barely eat for themselves. They eat food that's cold because they are too busy cooking for you. They're the only ones who can produce milk to fucking feed children. Without women, there would not be anybody. So what's one? Second, they are basically like God, next thing to God. Like, why would you not worship a woman? Okay, like how are you going to tell me that a man is above a woman? That is ridiculous. Second, just saying that all women are good for is cooking, cleaning, this and that. Obviously, all of us don't think that way, but I'm just going back to India. Rapists. A lot of rape goes on in India because men don't value women. They kill them, throw them away. Family pays off the cops. Done. Deal. It's over. Unless it's a big media frenzy, then maybe the case will get some justice. If not, no. If you're rich, you're fine. If you're poor, you're going to, it's going to be a little harder for you to fight a case or for you to go against a family that raped your daughter. It's going to be a little hard. So it all starts in the root of the problem, how the woman is treated at home, or if you have, or I don't know what Dilpreet's fucking past is. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying that if what we need to do as people and for the future and people that are my generation and Generation Z, teach your kids to do better. Teach your kids laying hands on a woman or even a man is not acceptable. I understand there's circumstances. I have thrown hands before, but not in the sense where you think because they spoke up, you can hit them. If they questioned you about something, a woman's not supposed to question you. Like, we're fucking human. So basically, it starts at home. Treat your wife with respect. Treat your mom with respect. That will continue on in generations. And as for India, shame on you for, letting money and corruption rule your country. And let go of the dowries. I know that's still going on in small towns and things like that. Like, you guys, women are to be worshipped. So stop treating our women like shit. And these men that like are good for nothing, half of these guys who degrade women and are laughing at Umber's videos are like fucking guys that are drinking and living off their parents' money, don't do shit. And they're like, who the fuck do you think you are? You know, have some respect. Like the fact that if you don't like something, that's fine. Keep it to yourself. You don't have to like any, you know, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like Umber's story, but degrading somebody and making fun of them or calling women whores and sluts just because that's just what you do to degrade women is not okay. So people do better, teach better. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about that. Domestic violence, if you are being abused and you don't know what to do, please reach out to me, reach out to a loved one, and please call 911 or somebody and get some help and get the fuck out of that relationship because you do not need that in your life and you are better than that and you deserve better. And I know it hurts when you're breaking up with somebody or the love of your life, but I promise you years when you fucking get over it, you're going to think to yourself, why the fuck was I even in that relationship? So anyways, we're going to take another break. I need to calm the fuck down. All right, guys, welcome back from our break. We were talking about Dilpreet Dhillon and him being an abuser and disgusting. I actually forgot to cover something. We were talking about domestic violence and how it's wrong. So I was actually in unfortunately, the worst video of my life. I was in Dilpreet Dhillon's video. I don't even want to talk about it because you guys are probably going to search it. You'll probably find it. I don't even want to give it attention. If you can spam it, that would be great. If you could spam the video, please spam it. So I was in Canada 5 years ago. I wasn't even that cute then. I got a little cuter now, but my friend hits me up. Don't want to mention her name. She's like, hey, you want to be in a music video? It's Dilpreet Dhillon. I'm obviously familiar with him. And I'm like, oh my God, like, cool. Like, I was excited, da, da, da. I had to like get a last minute suit. I was a little thicker, a little chunkier then. So not a lot of suits fit me except for like one. I only had a couple outfits. I was only supposed to be in India for Canada for a little bit. All last minute. Dilpreet shows up like 8 hours late to the shoot with a bunch of dudes drunk. Thinks he's a shit. I do a couple scenes with him. He sends somebody to come get my phone number. And I say no. They're like, oh, we're going to go hang out with Harj Nagra or somebody and a bunch of singers at the hotel. We'll get you your own room. And I'm like, no, that's disgusting. I don't want to fucking go with you. And then there was like one scene with me and Dilpreet where we're in a car and we're acting like we're watching a movie and he has to like hold me, which was like really like uncomfortable. But I think like the view that a lot of Indian men have about like girls that are in videos is like, oh, they're easy or something like that. Anyways, so then he starts like talking to me and whispering to me saying like, oh, I've heard about you. You make vines, you're popular, you're so pretty. And then he starts telling me a story about like how he became a singer and it was because his his girl broke his heart and he started drinking every day and some fucking like sob story about like, how he became a singer. And I don't know if this is like his game and like, yeah, he was crying over her, la, 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 la. And I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. And that's how he became a singer because she broke his heart and now he's finally over her, la, 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 la. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then at the end, he like tries to send somebody again to come, talk to me. And the director of the video was Suk Sangera. And I tell Suk, I'm like, yo, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like he I can't believe he tried to hit on me. He's like, why don't you go to the hotel? And I'm like, I don't want to fucking go. He's like, it's a good connection. And I'm like, no, like you know why he's inviting me. Like, you know what I mean? And he was just like kind of not against it. And then I was like laughing and telling him about the story he told me. I'm like, yeah, that was probably, like one of his sob stories he tells everybody. We're all laughing. And then later on, Suk doesn't really talk about it. So after the video shoot, Suk had my number because of, like the video shoot and stuff. He basically like sends me pictures from my Instagram and starts putting heart eyes, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And he's married, by the way, with kids. And he was like, you look so beautiful. I want to put you in another video. And back then, like I just, like I've always been outspoken, But if he would have done some shit like this to me now, I would have fucking screenshotted it and put it on Instagram. But I just blocked him. I was like, this guy's fucking disgusting, you know? So like, no, he didn't like lay hands on me. Nobody like touched me or anything like that. But it was just, you know, shows you how dirty the industry is. And I'm disgusted that I worked with such a disgusting human being. And I never want to do a Punjabi music video like that Punjabi ever again. I do have a music video actually coming out with a friend of mine, but he's my friend and that's a different story. But yeah, that's all I want to speak about that. And yeah, please spam that video, you guys. Fucking spam that shit. I look hideous in it too. I look so fucking ugly and it still plays on the Punjabi channel. And I'm like, people send it to me. I'm like, please stop reminding me that I was in this fucking video. Please. So yeah, I'm going to conclude this week's episode. 2020 is a fucking movie, dude. This shit's going to be in history. We are making history, people. Please go out and vote. You know, do the primary election. November is the actual election. We can't even get into that. People can't even vote right now because the poll machines are messed up, quote unquote. Like, you guys have so much motherfucking money. You can't get poll machines. Jeffrey Epstein documentary. Please watch it to see how fucked the government is. The government couldn't even help underage white women get justice for sex trafficking. That's a whole mind fuck. Please sign all the petitions with Black Lives Matter. It's on my Joty K Instagram. It's in the bio. Sign. Donate if you can. If you cannot donate, no worries. Please spread awareness, repost, learn, Google shit. If you don't know something, learn about it. Ask a peer, a friend. Domestic violence, reach out to your friends, family, anybody. We need to end it. It starts with us, you guys. We are the change. We are learning. We are woke. Don't let, people bring you down, like, Karens and Kevins and people that don't have the knowledge that you have and the wokeness that you have. Do not let them dull your sparkle, and keep going. If you're fighting for something, keep going. If you have questions, ask them. This is the time to make change. I know 2020 has been a shit hole, and it's, ever since Kobe died, it's been shit, rest in peace, Kobe. But this is our time to make change, you guys. Change yourself as a person. Be a better person. Worry about things that matter, not stupid ass things. And Black Lives Matter. All lives do not matter until Black Lives Matter. Please educate yourself. My name is Joty K. Be safe out there, you guys. My Instagram is Joty K. And guys, we will see you. Or who's we? Me. I will see you. I'm like looking at myself in a camera and I feel like it's two people. It's like me, myself, and I. But I will see you and talk to you next week.